to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina. And for those of you that don't know who we are, Ron and I are the co-founders of the Ridge Project and the co-creators of TYRO.
TYRO is the name of our flagship curriculum that we created in the midst of our trauma.
Ooh,
right?
When we say trauma, we mean trauma, drama, the whole 9 yards. Because we did 15 years in the prison system. Ron doing time on the inside and the kids and I doing the time on the outside.
So the word TYRO is a Latin word which means apprentice, novice, someone learning something new, a warrior.
Ooh, when we say warrior, what we mean is learning to be a leader in your home, your community, and your workplace. You see, the principles that we learned as we were overcoming every obstacle to building a strong, thriving family in the midst of that incarceration are the things that we've incorporated into our TYRO programs, including this show, TYRO TV, because we are so passionate about helping every family that's coming behind us make it.
You know, and one of the taglines that we use here in the world of TYRO is we are on this continuous improvement plan.
Ooh-wee.
Right? So if you think you've arrived and you're done learning, dads, listen to me, you're still asleep. You haven't woke up yet to the reality that you have the potential to become great each and every day, not only for you, but for your family, your children, and for all those around you.
Now, our goal is not for us to be perfect because we're not perfect, nor is it for you to become perfect. But our goal is to help you build a strong, thriving family that is permanent. Because practice does not make perfect.
Practice makes permanent.
So whatever it is you're practicing in there, you're going to transition out and you're going to practice on the outside. So you've got to begin practicing things that are going to help you become successful and thriving as you transition home.
You know what? And that's a great segue to talk about what we're going to talk about today. Showing up on time. You know, so dads, you can't think that something's going to change if you don't practice your behaviors. If you don't practice what you want to be when you grow up or hit society, you have to start right now. And showing up on time begins where?
Right
here.
While you're incarcerated. And so we're going to talk more about what we really mean when we say showing up on time. And so I think that you're going to learn a lot today. I think that there's going to be some nuggets that you can apply to help build your family strong and thriving. And so we want you to walk with us on this journey for the next half hour or so as we share with you some tidbits on the importance of showing up on time.
So stay tuned and we'll be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You'll begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Cathy Tijerina's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
And today we're talking about showing up on time.
Woo! Not just showing up, but showing up on time. And what we're really talking about is being engaged and involved in every area of your life. Not waiting to get out, not waiting to come home to try to re-engage with your kids or re-engage with your spouse. Because you know what? That's not on time. On time is right now, being present right now, throughout the journey.
You know, and sometimes you might think that that's impossible, but what it really is you can create an environment, you can create a culture in your family right where you're at right now to where not only do you show up, but you show up and you show out, right? You come to a place in their relationship that every move they make on the streets, everything that they're thinking about doing, you are part of that decision. You are part of that process.
Now,
because why?
We're not talking about controlling. We're not talking about, you know what, don't you do anything without talking to me first. You know what, you can't get a car. You can't do this until I've approved it. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about a dictatorship. We're not talking about control. What we're talking about is a collaborative partnership where you are part of your family. So you're engaged, you're reaching out, you're connecting with them, you're staying updated because you're on this journey together. That is showing up on time. In addition to, if you've got like a job, which I hope you do, that you are literally showing up on time for work, you're showing up on time for classes.
Because practice makes permanent. So if you're being lazy, dads, at your job there in the penitentiary, or you're being lazy, or you're trying to circumvent, just do the bare minimum at work, guess what? You're going to take that behavior into your family. You're going to do the bare minimum to establish a relationship with your significant other. You're going to do the bare minimum to be that dad you can be for your kids. If you're doing the bare minimum for others around you, guess what? That's your character. That's your behavior, and you're going to take that wherever you go. But if you show up and you show out, that means you're going to go that extra mile for your wife, for your kids, for your employer, whatever you're doing. You have a mindset, the TYRO mindset, that you're going to show up, show out, because you're a TYRO and then some. You're a dad and then some.
You're a husband
and then some.
Right? So when you're showing up on time, and that means consistently, your actions are speaking louder than your words. And so what we're talking about is showing up on time for relationships. So if the only time that you're showing up is when you need something, when you want something from somebody, that's not showing up on time. Showing up on time means that there's a give and take in the entire relationship, that you're walking together, that you're caring for the other person. And so as we go through this whole segment in this show, we're going to be talking about why that's so important and how to do it. Because if you're not showing up on time, you are setting a reputation for yourself that says all this person does is take. You know what? This person, I can't depend on them. They're unreliable. But when you begin to set a new precedent in your life, and you're setting a precedent that says, you know what? You can trust me. I am reliable. I am dependable. That means that you are showing up on time for your family members, for your friends, and for your employers.
You know what? Your future is in your hands. Your future, your destiny is in your hands right now. You can begin practicing this clear principle, showing up on time right now where you're at. You have no excuse why you can't be practicing right now, because people inside the prison are counting on you. When showing up on time means you're staying out of the hole. Showing up on time means that you're not getting tickets. Showing up on time means, right, because your family's counting on you to be faithful in there, to be faithful in the little things. Don't get caught up in the things, the drama that's happening inside there. Show up on time means to be legit.
To be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. And so many times we just make it so much about, you know what, well, I was at work on time. I showed up at work. I was supposed to be there from 9 to 5. I was there from 9 to 5. I showed up at chow on time. I was there when I was supposed to be in my cell.
I was there when count time, right?
And that's the minimum of what we mean and what you ought to be doing in order to practice showing up on time. Showing up on time also means being a regular contributor to the lives of the people that are important to you, the lives of people that you're important to them. And so that means being connected, that means continuing relationship. That's going to require some effort. And so as we talk about why it's important and how to do it, you are going to begin to experience transformation in your relationships. You're going to start seeing people lean in a new way. And you're going to start experiencing healing in a brand new way as you show up on time.
You know, this is really crucial to your future. We cannot say that enough. By practicing this principle, it will set a whole new course, a whole new direction for you and your family, dads. This is important because your children are still watching you. They're still learning from you. If they're coming to see you or you're in contact with them in communication, they're expecting their expectations to get a letter on time, to get a birthday card on time, to get those things. They're counting on you, Dad, to show up on time.
So when we come back, we're going to talk about why it's so important to show up on time and how it is that your actions are setting precedents and speaking louder than your words.
So stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Playing catch, basketball, laughing, and enjoying each other's company. These are all normal things on the outside, but many times are missed in a visitation setting. TYRO Dads brings the same fun experience to the inside through family days. As a TYRO dad, you have the opportunity to participate in this fantastic event. Family Day is designed to allow fathers and families to engage with each other through activities designed to stimulate communication, learning, and play. Family Days will not only be a highlight for you, but for your children as well. The Ridge Project has strategically developed Family Day as an opportunity to help you connect with your child throughout your separation and help both of you develop skills to continue building your relationship when you return home.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
And today we're talking about show up on time,
Ooh,
gentlemen.
on time, not late, right? And so throughout my life, before Ron went to prison, I was late for everything. And true confession time, sometimes I'm still late. And when I'm late, I realize and I recognize the disappointment and the frustration on people's face. And I don't mean just like showing up late for an appointment or late for a meeting. I mean letting too much time go by before I show up to visit my parents, or before I show up to visit my grandkids, or to show up to visit friends. And you see that, like, where have you been? You know what? We don't want to create that experience in our lives. We want to create the experience of, here is my true, faithful, reliable person in my life, whether it's role as a father, role as a husband, role as a son, a cousin, an employee. Show up on time. Create such an atmosphere of trust and respect.
Why is this important? It's because you're creating a new you. You're creating a new reputation for you, Dad. Because in the past, whatever it is that got you where you're at today, I'm going to tell you right now, you might have showed up, but you weren't really there. Right? Because men who find themselves incarcerated were usually trying to circumvent, trying to manipulate situations for their own favor and not thinking about anybody else. And that's the real, right? So when you show up on time and you got a whole new TYRO mindset, fathers, you're in there to win this. You're in there to demonstrate what it means to be.
To win it.
In it to win. You're in there to demonstrate honorable actions, things that where your reputation says you are dependable, you are reliable, that they can count on you to show up on time.
And that is one of the most important precedents you can set in your kid's life, is letting them know that you are reliable, you are dependable, and you are gonna show up. Maybe it's a letter, maybe it's a card, maybe it's a phone call, maybe it's an email. But your kids are gonna know they can depend on you for those important moments in their life, whether it's a big game, whether it's a birthday, whether it's a celebration, whether it's a hard time. When you communicate regularly with your children right on time, it builds trust and rapport in your relationship.
And you know what? Why this is so important is because you are setting a precedent. I can't say that enough. You are creating a new legacy for you. You are setting a new course of life for you and all those around you. And people are counting on you to not behave in the same manner that got you incarcerated, Dad. But if you're not willing to put the work into it, if you're not willing to show up on time, and when I say show up on time, that means don't wait for the correction officer to wake you up when you know every morning you got to make your bed by 6 a.m. Don't wait for count time to where you decide to do something. Do it without being told what to do. You know the expectations. You know what's required of you in this environment. Do it before you're told. I remember growing up as a kid, I had to be told many, many times over and over and over again, take out the trash. I walked by it. My dad said, I thought I told you to take the trash out. You did. Well, what's up? I'm going to get to it. I kept having to be told. Well, you know what? I don't want to be told when to take the trash out anymore. I don't want to be told when the birthday. I want to know. I want to be there. I want to be ready. Ooh, you know what? Why is this important? Because people want to know that you're ready to be the adult you were called to be, Dad.
And to fulfill the role that they're depending on you to fulfill. Your kids, their world is chaos right now. Everything is upside down because you are locked up. But when you can consistently, on time, show up in their lives in other ways that aren't physical, you reduce the stress in their life. You create a sense of feeling protected and valued and loved, which gives them the resiliency. It increases their resiliency in order to be able to make it through this circumstance without letting this crush them. So Dad, it is so important. Showing up on time is so, so important. And you know what? It shouldn't be hard work. For us, it's like sometimes we're just like, oh my goodness, you're running from this thing and running to the other thing and running to the other thing. Really determining what's most important and showing up for those most important things will help you show up on time.
You know what? This is a great topic because prior to me waking up in penitentiary, I was always late. I was always
Or
late.
sometimes just absent, not even showing up.
I would show.
Like, where's
I would.
Ron?
Yeah,
Where's Ron?
Not even there. I was all about me. You know, I was so
Wait,
selfish.
say it again. You were what?
I was so it was all
about
about me, and
Yes.
and if, I would be so upset when you didn't show up on time.
Right.
When things weren't going my way, I would throw a temper tantrum. But the truth is, it was because I was late for everything. I was late. I was late for our wedding.
Yeah, you were.
You
So
know?
you are going to reap what you sow.
Man.
So if you're not showing up on time in other people's lives, you can't get mad when they don't show up for you. When you're looking around for support and nobody shows up because you never showed up for anybody else, you created that experience. And so the importance of showing up is about investing in other people, but also creating opportunities for you to have relationship to walk through this journey towards success.
You know, this has been a wonderful subject, you know, but I want to go into the next segment about how.
Yes.
You know, it's really, we want to give you some tips on how to implement this, how to begin practicing this if you're not already. And if whatever you're doing now, we want to add something to that because this is so vital to the success of your family.
So stay tuned because when we get back, we're going to break down how do you show up on time for your family. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Dear son, it's been hard these last few years watching you grow up without me in the picture. Never taking the time to find out how you were or what was going on in your life. You're just a boy, I thought. You don't need me. I didn't need my dad. He was never around, I told myself. But I was wrong, son. I'm supposed to be a grown man. I was selfish. I was stupid. I was thinking of me, not you. If I could go back, son, and change things, I would. It's taken me all this time being selfish to finally grow up and realize I need to be a responsible man. That's what I finally learned, not from prison, but the TYRO program. It's all about becoming a better, stronger man. Wish I would have gotten it sooner. Everything looks different to me now. I'm a changed person. I know I need to be there for you now. It's not about me anymore. It's not about being cool. It's not about who I run with. It's about mom. It's about you. It's about being a better man, learning something new in my life. It's about being a TYRO, a man worth following. I'm your dad. You're my son, and I love you. I am a TYRO. I'm a TYRO. Dad.
If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
And today we're talking about showing up on time.
Ooh-wee, not just showing up, but showing up
on time. And this is really vital. I can't say this enough. If you want to set a new precedent, you want to set a course, if you never want to see your children end up where you're at today, dads, you got to show up on time in their lives, in that moment. Be there for them because, dads, it's not about you. It's about them and their future. And once you wake up and to realize that the role that you play as a father, you play as the man of the home, you can set a new legacy for not only your children's, but for your children's children's and on generations.
All the way down, right? And so as you practice these new concepts and you start showing up on time, that you're setting a new legacy for yourself. You never have to experience this again, incarceration, and you make it much less likely that your children will experience incarceration or poverty. You know, if those aren't good enough reasons, oh my goodness, I don't know what is.
I mean, none of us like being poor.
No.
None of us like being broke.
None of us like having a family separated by incarceration.
Right.
So the first thing that we're going to tell you on how to show up on time is, number one, be consistent. Start practicing consistently, either writing letters, making phone calls, emails, or even in prison visits. Think about, okay, how can I show up on time in a prison visit? That might mean that every time you see them, that you greet them with a hug, or that you scoop them up in your arms and give them a big hug and a kiss. Whatever whatever it is, be consistent in doing that thing, because that will always be on time. It's like, wow, my dad is meeting my expectation. I'm walking into this prison visiting room with an expectation that my dad is going to react or respond to seeing me in a specific way, and it's going to make me feel valuable.
So dads, when you go out to the visiting room and we're talking about showing up and on time, don't leave your agenda back at the cell. Leave your protocol back at the jail. Let your hair down. Go out there and know that you're visiting them. They're not visiting you. Ooh,
so that's
man.
intentional. So
Yeah,
the
be
first one we
intentional.
talked about is being consistent. And so this one is intentional. Intentionally looking at, okay, how am I going to invest? Being present, really present.
Yes.
Not just, okay, well, I'm here. Okay, I made the phone call, or okay, this person's here, but really I'm still thinking all about who?
Me. And the third one is being aware. That means you're going to get information from your family. You're going to ask questions, and you're going to ask what's going on in their lives. Because when you show up on time,
you can't show up on time if you're not aware of the important things. You can't, if you're not informed. I mean, think about if you're on the outside and you have no idea when your wedding anniversary is, or even on the inside, and you have no idea when birthdays are, or when big games are, or when a big test is. You can't be on time. You can't show up with that timely word of encouragement if you don't know what's happening. So in order to be consistent, in order to be intentional, which were the first two things we talked about, how you must be aware of what's happening in your children's lives and in your family's lives and in your friends' lives, because that is what will equip you to be able to show up on time.
and don't do it like we did in the past, dads. You know, we get a job and we know we have to be at a job by 8 a.m. or whatever time you had to be there, and we would just get there barely in the nick of time so we didn't get docked.
7:59, 59.
Right? Don't live like that with your kids.
Right.
Change your behavior. Change the way you're viewing life. It's not about you. It's about your legacy and them, that you're empowering them to realize they can count on you.
So when you know what's happening in their life, you can drop that little note. Hey, I just want to let you know I'm thinking about you. I'm rooting for you to win this activity. I'm rooting for you to pass this test. I know you can do it. Or happy birthday, I'm celebrating your life today. Showing up on time consistently through your children's lives means that you are consistent in your communication. B,
You're intentional about what you're doing. You're focused on it.
and 3, you're aware so that you're timely. Because if you're saying, hey, I just want to say happy birthday, and it's 3 months late, that doesn't build consistency. That doesn't build that respect and that honor and that feeling of being protected.
Or valued.
Or valued, that's right. So Dad, as you walk through this time where you're incarcerated, begin to practice something different. Think about, how can I show up on time in my family's life? What is it that I can do to be intentional about being consistent and be aware of what's happening in their life? And begin to practice those things now, because if you don't, it's going to become even harder when you transition out, because it's crazy busy out here. And so being intentional inside is going to help you be invested in your family on the outside.
Because remember, the reason why you're there, the reason why I went there was to change my attitude, change the way I was thinking, change my behavior, change everything about me in my world, because my best thinking got me locked up.
Right.
So your best thinking got you what? You fill in the blanks. I don't know what your sentence is, but I know you're there. So guess what? That means we have to change the way we think. That means that we have to change the way we perceive ourselves, our role, our family.
Right. Let your children know that they can rely on you, they can depend on you by showing up on time in every major event in their life, even the minor events, right? So when we come back, we're going to wrap it all up and give you a few final pointers.
So stay tuned, and we will be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You'll begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Cathy Ron Tijerina's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions. to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
And today we're talking about showing up on time, gentlemen.
Ooh-wee. And lots of ways showing up on time to invest in your kids' lives, to be part of their journey and part of their lives.
In the past, we were never there, dads. We're going to keep it real, right? If you were there present in your family's life, if you were there focused, if you were consistent, if you had the right information, right, and you were intentional about what we're talking about here, showing up on time, I know you would never go to prison. I know this experience you're having wouldn't have happened because we would have been doing the right things all the time. We would have been intentional about never coming to prison.
That's absolutely true. And so we are hoping that you're going to take these tidbits and you're going to say, wow, you know what? I really need to invest on a regular basis and be on time in my children's lives. That we're hoping that you're going to set a new precedent and be reliable and dependable and the dad that I know is involved and cares about me. And so if you don't have visits, write letters, send emails, make phone calls, whatever way you can, invest in your children's lives on time.
You know, I remember guys who didn't have kids that are in prison, right? But then what they would do is the dads in there would ask them, hey, can you draw a picture for my sons? In fact, what I did, because I knew guys who would make piggy banks with popsicle sticks, stuff like that. Now, I was never a really good craftsmen like that, so they would make stuff for me, right? They would draw pictures for me. There's some great artists in there, and you know what? They can take time to draw on a birthday card for you. Be present, be creative, do something that's out of the ordinary for you. Surprise your kids, surprise your family. Begin a new way of thinking, a new way of living. Because why? I promise you, what you practiced in there, right, you will take with you to the streets. So practice makes permanent. Practice being present on time with your family.
And that will make your transition smoother and set precedents for your children to know that they're safe, they're protected, they can rely on you. So as you transition out, they're automatically going to be warmer and more welcoming towards you, and it will reduce the obstacles you have in your reintegration.
Because you're building a relationship with them. Even though it might be miles and hours apart, days apart, months apart, you are still building that foundation of having a healthy relationship with your children. And that is so key to your success.
They will carry these memories with them for the rest of their life. The letters, the phone calls, your dad showed up on time, and they'll be watching outside and they'll say, wow, you know what, Joey's dad isn't even in prison and he never shows up for anything, but I always get a letter from my dad right on time. I always get communication from my dad. You are making an incredible investment just by showing up on time.
Making a difference in your children's life, and you can do it from behind bars. There's no excuse, dads. No excuse.
So we want to thank you for allowing us to be part of your journey. Thanks for taking the time to join us today. And we hope that something that we said today is going to trigger inside of you a brand new legacy.
So until next time, always remember that we are rooting for you.